I'm joined by Nompumelelo Runji. She is a columnist with the Sowetan and a political analyst. And from our studios in Polokwane, Knox Siabi is the ANC secretary in the province of Limpopo. Mr. Siabi, welcome to the show, and Mrs. Runji as well. Let me welcome you to the show. You wrote an article recently, in fact last week, where you actually did not mince your words about what you thought of the ANC in Limpopo province. Just share with us.
Well, the point I was making in the article, Mpo, is that the sacking of the 7 mayors is not a panacea. It is not a silver bullet, to the problems of service delivery facing many municipalities in the province. So it is welcomed that the ANC would show some form of political will in trying to address the problem. But there are other issues which are more root causes of what is going on in terms of service delivery. And the issues are less about what the mayors are doing and not doing, and they're more institutional. And they have to do with the nature of how the party works, and also the nature of how things are run in municipalities on a day-to-day basis. If you look at it, the ANC swears by the fact that it is collective leadership. It's led collectively. Mm-hmm. So the mayors are themselves a reflection of the party. They are the subset of the leadership of the party. So when you remove one mayor and replace it with another, they still represent the very same party as the political leadership of the party. So you're not dealing with some of the problems that are faced by municipalities. Most of the problems, and I'd like to read here some from the Auditor General's report of 2011 and 2012, when he did the audits of municipalities, 30 municipalities in the province. Yes. And he said the problems that lead to financial mismanagement and governance are the following: lack of skills and competencies. Mm-hmm. Some municipalities don't take ownership of their own audit outcomes, so they take no responsibility for solving problems. The third thing is there's a lack of consequences for poor performance. So those who don't perform appropriately don't get sanctioned. They remain in their positions. Whether they've committed a misconduct or anything like that, they remain in their positions. Okay. The fourth thing that I think is also important is that leadership has not implemented an adequate performance management system. Now, these things are not just issues of mayors. These are institutional issues that require a lot more than just firing political heads.
Mr. Siabi, let me welcome you to the show. Are you scraping just the top of the surface instead of going deeper into where the problem lies? And I'm talking about the ANC here and the action that you took.
Good day, Mpo, and let me greet your viewers at home. We remember, as the ANC, we are in charge of those municipalities, and we have deployed mayors to provide leadership in those municipalities. If anything goes wrong, we look at the head. What is the head doing so that this body can work properly? Now, I hear my colleague there is talking about institutional arrangements, but who's employing those administrators in those municipalities? It is those head of the institutions who are mayors. Therefore, as the ANC, when things are not moving right in those municipalities, the only person we can call to come and account is a person who has been deployed by the ANC, and those are councillors. And a mayor is also a councillor. Therefore, as a head of the institution politically, the mayor must account why things are not going as they should in line with the mandate of the ANC. Therefore, recalling the mayors to us, we see as an intervention that will assist us to improve service delivery to our people.
Okay, Mr. Siabi, perhaps let's just recapture the state of affairs now. You firstly recalled the Capricorn District Municipality Mayor, that was Lawrence Mapoulo, Joshua Matlou in Mopani, and the Elias Mswali local municipalities, Wendy Matemani and Josias Matlake from the Greater Tubats, right? What were the reasons? Was it lack of capacity or anything which we do not know?
Mpo, we received a report on governance, especially governance in the local municipalities. The Provincial Executive Committee interacted with the report, had extensive discussions, and ultimately resolved that in terms of this report, it points to the fact that as the ANC, we need to make some interventions. And in some municipalities, we made interventions by recalling the mayors. In some municipalities, we made interventions by recalling the speakers, and in some, recalling the chief whip. In some municipalities, we said our government must go and give support so that we are able to improve service delivery. So the action or the intervention made by the Provincial Executive Committee was informed by the governance report that was received by the Provincial Executive Committee.
Okay. Now, Ms. Runji, I know that you analysts always say things that we ordinary South Africans are not able to say, perhaps because you are too analytical. Some of you have said this is political. Is that the case?
Well, look, it wouldn't be something new to point to the fact that a lot of leadership decisions are made on the basis of factions in the ruling party. We've seen it in the past, even at senior levels, at provincial level, at national government level. So it is not an unfair, a statement to make that some of these decisions are in fact informed by who is on whose side currently in the political factional battles in the party. So, yes.
All right. I'm going to give Mr. Siabi an opportunity to respond only after the break. For now, we're going to take a quick break. Please don't go away.
Across the globe, the continent and the entire country, every second there's always a breaking story. SABC News is your reliable eye, ear and information system in bringing you events as they happen. Our cutting-edge and hard-hitting journalism leaves no stone unturned, giving you the whole picture every time. Join us every day on SABC2 and know what is happening around you. SABC News, Africa's news leader.
Storms have affected several hundred families in low-lying areas on the Cape Flats. Disaster management remains on high alert. Residents have not yet been evacuated.
The area is prone to flooding and residents are weary.
Evicted Lwandle residents near Strand and Cape Town will spend another night in community halls.
They come with sticks here and all that other stuff. So what is going to happen to our children, to the people in the morning who's coming to the bus stop? Huh?
Primetime News, daily at 6 p.m. on SABC News.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. Mr. Knox Siabi is the ANC Provincial Secretary in Limpopo, and Ms. Nompumelelo Runji is my guest. She's a political analyst and a columnist at the Sowetan. Now, Mr. Siabi, let me come to you. Is this a political purge of those who do not agree with you or those who are not on your slate?
No. You'll remember that the provincial conference that we held in February at Tefliop that produced this leadership was a provincial conference that after a long time showed signs of unity. And the branch delegates elected leadership from different slates, if I may put it that way, because branch delegates wanted a unified provincial executive committee. So there's no basis to argue that we are purging. As I said earlier, that our interventions are informed by the report that was subjected to intensive discussions by the Provincial Executive Committee. It's not a matter of factionalism. As far as we are concerned in the province is stable, the province is united, and we are moving forward. as the Provincial Executive Committee to ensure that we even unite the people of Limpopo.
Was it just a coincidence that the mayors that were recalled are mayors who would have been perhaps in the past aligned to the previous chairperson of the province, Castle Matale?
There's no mayor who's aligned to the former premier, Castle Matale, or the current premier, Comrade Stan Matavat. Mayors are deployed by the African National Congress, and mayors are aligned to the African National Congress. That is why it is the African National Congress that will always assess, evaluate, monitor the performance of its deployees. And based on whatever kind of reports the ANC receives, they will be able to make some interventions.
Okay.
So there's no mayor who's aligned to this comrade or that comrade. All mayors are members of the African National Congress, and they take cue from the African National Congress.
And a very quick one before I come to Ms. Runji here. This has got nothing to do with the fact that they are said to be friends with Julius Malema.
I'm not even aware who's a friend to Julius Malema. As far as I'm concerned, as the provincial secretary, we were dealing with members of the African National Congress.
Okay.
There are people who may be friends to other people in other political parties, but that does not inform how decisions of the ANC are taken.
Okay. Let me bring you in here. What is your analogy of the ANC in Limpopo?
As I wrote in the piece on Thursday, there are many challenges that the ANC in Limpopo is facing. I don't fault the provincial secretary for trying to paint unity, trying to paint a picture of things that are going well.
Are you saying that there's no unity?
I'm saying that there are challenges. I'm saying that it is disingenuous for him to claim that there is no such thing as factionalism in Limpopo or anywhere else where the ANC governs. Those things are a reality. There are certain fault lines that have been fixed, in the past and in the present. So I don't fault him because he is the provincial secretary. He must portray this image. But those issues do exist, and they then filter down into service delivery issues, whereas then you find that municipalities and the resources thereof are used as patronage to please this or other, to reward this or other community for supporting this councillor, this or other individual for supporting this or other individual in municipalities, for instance. Then you've got other unsavory things that then develop from those relationships. You've got corruption, you've got bribery, you've got issues of nepotism within municipalities. All these things work against the whole objective of providing services to communities. And communities are not blind to this. They see this, and that's why we've had these service delivery protests. And Limpopo is not a stranger to these. We've seen in Mulamlela these issues are arising, and communities are seeing them. They notice them, and so they respond to them in that way.
But then, how do you explain a scenario where, whereas other mayors have been recalled, you also have a mayor of the economic hub of that province, Freddie Griever, who says, rather, I'm resigning myself.
Yes.
I'm not going to be recalled, or there was no intention from the ANC to recall him, or we had not heard that they were going to recall him.
Well, there's no smoke where there's no fire. He must have known something that the rest of us don't know about what it is that was going to happen to him. So he decided to act before whatever was to happen happened. Okay. So it's important for us to see beyond the surface sometimes.
Mr. Siabi, let's go to Mogalakwena. There's a lot that seems to be happening there. What's the latest? You have fired the councillors. Any by-elections anytime soon? And what does it mean that you fired these councillors because they were conniving with the opposition?
Yes, you you'll remember that the issue of Mogalakwena has been hanging for more than a year now. This issue was dealt with by the previous PTT. The National Executive Committee deployees came to the province to try and deal with the issue of Mogalakwena. At the core of the issue of Mogalakwena is that councillors are not disciplined, they don't respect the authority of the ANC, and at all these times, the leadership, whether national or provincial or even region, they were trying to talk to comrades to respect the constitution of the ANC. Now, they even went further. On the day when the president of the country, the president of the ANC, was in the region, in Waterberg, and in Mogalakwena in particular, they decided to sit and connive with the opposition to outvote the deployee of the ANC in the name of the mayor. Now, that is ill-discipline at its extreme, because in terms of the constitution of the ANC, deployees of the ANC will sit at the caucus, they will agree on a particular position, they will also consult the leadership of the ANC, so that the position they present in a council meeting is a position of the organization. Now, they were suspended before, and the SG instructed them, because they are on suspension for 12 to 24 months, they must relinquish their position. They undermined that authority of the SG. They defied the instruction from the SG, which is the instruction of the ANC. Okay. Now, how do you stay or tolerate such members of the ANC who don't care, who don't respect, who don't have regard for the constitution of the ANC?
Okay. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, we'll wrap up the program. But for now, please don't go away. We'll return shortly.
Jill Marcus is warning that the industrial action will weigh on the current account. Now, it reflects the degree to which South Africa is importing more than it exports.
More discriminatory investors will avoid placing money in SA bonds and equities and go elsewhere, given the fragility of the country's twin deficits.
The strike has already impacted negatively on economic growth, but it hasn't had a big impact on export data just yet.
Primetime News, daily at 6 p.m. on SABC News.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. Knox Siabi is the Provincial Secretary of the ANC, and he joins us from our Polokwane studios. And in studio here, I'm with Ms. Nompumelelo Runji, who is a columnist with the Sowetan and also a political analyst. Now, let me just check with you quickly here. The ANC has now replaced the mayors that were axed, or the councillors that were, recalled. What do you think was the criteria? We'll check with them.
Look, I would answer the question in this way. It's not unusual for the ANC to recall and replace mayors whenever something goes wrong. Now, in the context of what I said in the beginning, saying that the ANC swears by collective leadership, when you change and exchange individuals, you are not changing and exchanging the party. The party remains what it is, with the programs that it has, with the policies that it has, and with the problems that it has.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Siabi, is Tembi and Gilbert bringing in the same problems that have been there already?
Bringing in the same problems.
Yes, as Mrs. Runji here put it.
No. Comrade Tembi and Comrade Gilbert, it is our hope as the leadership of the province that they'll bring a new life into those municipalities. They'll take the municipalities to new heights. Remember, we're not saying those comrades who were recalled did not do anything, but this intervention is to enhance service delivery, and we think with their new energy, they will go into those municipalities, energize the municipalities so that we deliver services to our people. Our main concern is to deliver services to our people. Our people are looking for water, they are looking for electricity, they are looking for roads, they are looking for employment. Okay. So any deployee of the ANC must be able to deliver on those.
Okay. There's talk of serious split within the ANC in the province. There's things called Boko Haram and all sorts of groups that are said to be ganging up against your leadership. How far true are these allegations?
I read about those in the media, but as far as we are concerned, I want to emphasize that the Provincial Executive Committee of Limpopo is united, and this Provincial Executive Committee is doing all it can to make sure that members of the ANC are united and ultimately the people of Limpopo are united. So the stories of Boko Haram and so on, we just read them from the media, we just take them as rumor, and they are not going to divert our attention to better the lives of our people.
Okay.
Remember, it is in the interest of our detractors that they see the ANC divided. When the ANC is united, they feel threatened because they know what the ANC is capable of doing. Okay. For now, we can put it on record that this leadership of the province is united, and we are going to unite the members of the ANC in the province and ultimately unite the people of Limpopo.
Would you then say that the secretary is naive of the facts as you put them?
Look, I will give the secretary some credit in the sense that the ANC is showing some sort of political will to bring changes to municipalities. But this needs to go a lot deeper than just removing mayors. You see, we have a system of municipal governance that runs on two dual forms of leadership. You've got the political leadership, the administrative leadership. You've got the mayor, you've got municipal managers who has his executives underneath him. If anything is going to change in these institutions, the ANC needs to focus on strengthening the bureaucratic arm of these institutions. You need to hire skilled people, qualified people who can head up departments. There needs to be coherence in the programs and commitment to programs of service delivery, both at the political and at the administrative levels. We can't have the deployment of what the Secretary says are good cadres at mayorship level. Then you've got weak cadres at other levels of the municipality. So these things need to speak to each other to avoid any conflicts. So in a sense, I would say that if he feels that this is enough, that this is the end, if the firing of mayors and replacing them with others, then indeed he is naive. Then indeed the ANC is being naive. But if these will be followed on with other impactful, changes to be seen in municipalities in the future, then there's some hope. But just thinking that firing mayors is a silver bullet, like I said, is really very naive.
What would you want to, or what would you like to say to the provincial secretary?
I would say to him that let there be a show of seriousness from the ANC leadership side. They've now changed the mayors. Let them move on to implement some of these other things that I've spoken about during this show. There needs to be concerted effort, like I said, to strengthen the bureaucracy. We need qualified people to be running our municipalities. We need people who are committed to providing that which was promised to communities. We need transparency. We need accountability. And this accountability can't come after many years. These problems that were revealed in the governance report that they received, I understand they're not new problems. We've had the Auditor General speaking about issues. We've had so many other reports come out. We've had an NGO called Municipal Barometer release so many reports on the very same issues of governance and administration, and the ANC is only acting now.
Okay.
So these things require more political will from the ANC side.
Mr. Siabi, a very quick one. Who's next on the line?
I don't know. But I want to agree with my colleague there that as the ANC we're serious, and we can't just deploy good cadres at a political level and deploy mediocrity at an administrative level. Okay. I'm on record having said that as the ANC, we are continuously assessing and evaluating our performance at local government level, especially in municipalities.
Okay.
Therefore, we are serious about our interventions.
All right.
We are serious about giving our people service delivery, and just watch the space.
All right,
we are
Mr.
going to
Siabi,
make sure that everybody deployed there is as effective as the ANC would like him or her to be.
Thank you very much, Mr. Siabi, for the time, and thank you, Ms. Runji, as well. That was Question Time for today. Our email address, questiontime@sabc.co.za, or our Twitter handle @questiontime24. From me and the crew, have yourself a wonderful time. Goodbye.